Several years after a global disaster, where a solar flare destroyed half of the world's technology, there lived a treasure hunter and former military soldier named Jack, who constantly roamed from place to place in order to survive. At that time, warlords took over local governments and controlled most of Europe. Cities fell into starvation and turned into mass graves. Fuel became scarce, money was no longer useful, and even medicine was hard to find, allowing diseases to spread rapidly among the population. This time, Jack was assigned by the king to steal a treasure belonging to a well-known businessman who had long abandoned it. With only basic tools and his expertise, Jack easily unlocked the safe in front of him and took everything inside. After grabbing a classic violin and all the money stored in the safe, suddenly a group of people appeared and blocked Jack's exit. At first, Jack thought they were the police, but after looking closer, he realized they were merely a group of bandits intending to rob the goods Jack had just stolen. Without hesitation, Jack immediately eliminated them all. He then brought the stolen items to a certain place, which turned out to be a kingdom, or rather a headquarters, run by a man named August. August was the one who often gave commands to Jack through his right-hand man, Eden. After handing over the items August requested, Jack returned home. Upon arriving, he fed his pets and rested. While sleeping, Jack dreamed that he was sailing somewhere on a boat, enjoying the beauty of nature and finding peace of mind. However, his dream ended abruptly when he was awakened by a soldier who had been caught in a trap Jack previously set. The soldier said that August was calling for Jack immediately. Feeling it was important, Jack quickly went to the destination. When he arrived, he was invited to sit, and this time August, knowing Jack's exceptional abilities, presented a very tempting offer. In Eastern Europe, there was a brutal warlord named Volkov, who was feared for potentially destroying August's dominance. But August's real intention was different. He wanted Jack to steal the Mona Lisa painting located in Volkov's territory. If Jack agreed, he would be granted freedom, meaning he would no longer have to work for August. Since August knew that Jack wanted to set sail on a ship, he promised to give Jack the boat he desired and allow him to enjoy the rest of his life in peace. Returning home, Jack was approached by Eden, who wanted to encourage him, knowing Jack was willing to take on the mission. Eden also reminded Jack not to die while on duty. To carry out the mission, Jack would be accompanied by one of August's men, a pilot named Sergio. A little information. In the region Jack was heading to, August had already requested assistance from his allies, who were part of a rebel group, to help Jack. The destination area was called St. Quentin. During the journey, Jack appeared worried about the transportation they were currently using. Even so, Sergio tried to reassure him that everything would be fine. Upon arriving above the territory of St. Quentin, they were suddenly showered with bullets by Volkov's troops. Because of this, Sergio told Jack to immediately jump from the plane. Only a few minutes after landing, Jack encountered a steel tank that was about to shoot him. Fortunately, shortly after, the rebel group arrived to save him. Meanwhile, Volkov was seen forcing a prisoner to play chess. Unfortunately, because the prisoner didn't know how to play at all, Volkov ruthlessly killed him on the spot. Not long after, Volkov was approached by his right-hand man, Daniel, who reported that a few minutes earlier, their heavy artillery had fired at a plane belonging to August's group. Realizing something suspicious was happening, Volkov ordered his men to sweep through the entire territory under his control. The next morning, so that he wouldn't be suspected, Jack tried to dress like the locals. It was seen that 2 rebel members who had been captured were immediately shot to death by Volkov's men. Unfortunately, Jack ran into several of Volkov's soldiers, but in just a moment, Jack, with his extraordinary ability, managed to eliminate them all. When Jack was about to leave, another of Volkov's men blocked him. However, shortly after, a rebel member appeared and helped Jack. The woman's name was Drea. Knowing Jack's purpose, Drea quickly took him to a certain place. However, during their journey, one of Volkov's soldiers, who found Jack suspicious, secretly reported him to Volkov's forces. Arriving at the location, Jack was introduced to the rebel leader and Drea's father, whom they called Romo. At that moment, Romo showed them his bulletproof car with more than 1,000 horsepower. Romo also added that the region they were heading to was called Sauli. Not long after, it was proven true. Several of Volkov's troops arrived and surrounded the place. Romo, who had already chosen his path, ordered Jack and Drea to leave immediately, while he would slow the soldiers down. Because the vehicle they were using wouldn't start, Drea decided to stand guard while Romo and the commander of one of Volkov's units, named Vern, confronted each other. Seeing Vern order his men to enter and check the building, Romo immediately shot Vern without hesitation. At last, the car managed to start. The two of them sped away, trying to escape the pursuit from the soldiers and Volkov's forces. In short, they eventually survived and were now traveling toward a military base called Suli. August, who heard the news, was very happy, but he also felt sorrow over losing Romo, who died as a hero. That night, from a conversation between Drea and Jack, we are told that Volkov was also after the Mona Lisa. Because of that, they had to reach the location first before Volkov discovered the truth and the exact place of the item they were searching for. The next morning, Vern was forced to explain to Volkov why he let Jack and Drea escape. After hearing the explanation and knowing where they were headed, Volkov immediately ordered Daniel to shoot Vern. Sometime later, Drea and Jack finally arrived in Suli. There, Drea explained that years ago, many cannibal convicts escaped from a maximum security prison and were still roaming around Suli. The reason they came here was to retrieve a map showing the true location of the Mona Lisa painting. After searching for a long time, they finally found it. But unexpectedly outside, the cannibal hordes who smelled Jack and Drea began charging toward their location. It turned out that it wasn't a map at all, but rather a book containing coordinate lines, which, when checked on a map, showed that the painting was located in a region called Simserhof. Luckily, before the cannibals arrived, Jack and Drea managed to escape and set a trap for them. During the journey, Drea instructed part of her group to monitor them, and she also provided the location they were now heading to. On the other side, Volkov and his troops had just arrived in Suli. In a room previously destroyed by Jack, Daniel and the intelligent Volkov used UV light and were able to learn the destination that Jack and Drea were pursuing. Upon arriving at the location, Jack and Drea rushed into the building and explored its interior, which turned out to be abandoned. However, the electricity there was still running. From the building blueprint they found, Jack realized that the vault containing the Mona Lisa was located directly beneath an exhaust fan leading into the water below. After receiving a report that Volkov was on his way to their location, Drea immediately told Jack to go ahead, because she would disable the solar panels to stop the fan blocking Jack's path. At the same time, Drea tried shooting the solar panels in front of her. Unfortunately, her first and second attempts failed completely. But on her third attempt, she succeeded in destroying the entire solar panel system, saving Jack, who was just moments away from being sliced to pieces. Knowing that the vault was located farther ahead, Jack took a deep breath and dove into the water. Fortunately, before running out of air, he managed to break open the door, blocking his exit. Moments later, Drea, who was waiting outside, was suddenly met by Jack opening the door. He had found the item they were searching for. But shockingly, the Mona Lisa they meant wasn't a painting at all. It was a nuclear warhead from the World War that previously had the Mona Lisa painting attached to it. Feeling deceived, Jack looked disappointed and demanded to know why Drea never told him earlier. At that moment, Drea explained that she intended to give the nuclear device to August to destroy Volkov and his men. Holding the detonator in her hand, Drea said everything was meant to bring prosperity to the people so they would no longer be oppressed by Volkov. Feeling betrayed, Jack chose to leave Drea behind. Shortly after Jack left, the rebel forces Drea had earlier contacted arrived and began preparing to take the nuclear weapon away. But unexpectedly, Volkov and his troops arrived riding a train and immediately opened fire on them all. Meanwhile, on his journey away, Jack realized that Drea might actually be right, so he turned back, determined to help her. When he arrived, he found only the bodies of the fallen rebels, slaughtered by Volkov's forces. Luckily, Drea was still alive, though she was injured in the leg. Learning that Volkov had successfully seized the nuclear warhead and taken it away by train, Jack ordered Drea to show him the route the train was taking. That night, Because the train was moving very slowly, Daniel, acting under Volkov's orders, immediately warned the train engineer to increase the speed. The engineer ignored the command because he didn't want to take the risk while transporting a nuclear weapon. As a result, upon hearing Daniel's explanation, Volkov, without hesitation, killed the engineer and increased the train's speed himself. Unbeknownst to them, Jack and Drea were already positioned on the bridge ahead. This time, Jack would be responsible for stopping Volkov and his men, while Drea was assigned to set up a trap on the next bridge to halt the train's progress. After arriving at the location, Drea set up several explosives and detonated them immediately. Meanwhile, Jack was locked in a fierce fight with Daniel, but in the middle of their battle, Volkov arrived and killed Daniel himself. This became a golden opportunity for Jack, who instantly attacked Volkov. After taking the detonator hanging around Volkov's neck, Jack told him that his mission there was only to distract them. As the train moved out onto the bridge that had already been destroyed, it plunged into the ravine and exploded. Seeing it from afar, Drea repeatedly screamed Jack's name. She was devastated, certain that Jack was dead in the explosion. But unexpectedly, moments later, Jack appeared behind her and embraced her. In short, Jack returned to August's stronghold. There, Jack handed the detonator he had taken to August. According to their agreement, August would now give Jack what he wanted. Therefore, August ordered Eden to prepare everything immediately. The film ends with Jack finally achieving his dream of sailing away on the boat he always desired, and with him was Drea, whom he would take as his life partner. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.